what is the best way to address our ongoing foreclosure crisis? And we'll do a minute and a half on this.
A minute and a half to fix that. Well, let's start off again by correcting what the supervisor probably was about to say that he had in his mailer, that I did nothing to help fix California's foreclosure problem. The fact is that this year alone, with the governor and other legislators, I supported the largest, most significant historic reform to foreclosure problems in California. I voted for that. Now, my challenger here doesn't want to acknowledge that. I broke with party lines. I went against the Cal Chamber, and I supported this because we have an ongoing serious problem of foreclosure problems, and I've seen that as we walk throughout the precincts, throughout the city, throughout the county areas. And folks, if we can't keep families in their homes, we are not going to recover from the tough economic times that we have. And the only way we're going to do that is we have to make the large banks work with the homeowners. And the legislation that I helped pass was so that as you were working with the bank to get foreclosure relief, they could no longer process the foreclosure of your home while you were working with the other department in the same bank. That's the reform that I helped push through.
A little late, we're more than halfway through all the foreclosures in the state, and so there were a lot of politicians that shifted course after they saw what a serious problem this was. I mean, over half of our hundreds of thousands of foreclosures here in the county of Riverside. So they jumped on the, they were hitchhikers on the popularity bandwagon at last. Well, that's good, that's good. I compliment Assembly Jefferson County recognizing this. The county saw it from the outset. One thing we had the power to do was to use our code enforcement inspections, which are usually, looked at with some fear and respect, but to go around and make sure there weren't any safety hazards. Look at the pools in the backyard, make sure the bank was keeping the property up so that other houses in the neighborhood their values weren't damaged. And the county aggressively moved on that front from the very beginning. We were moving on it. We were trying to do everything. We got some money from the state and feds that we tried to resell homes. But largely this is an issue that has festered at the state and federal levels. And a lot of other things have happened since. And only now are they beginning to see that we need to do something more proactively.
Mr. Jeffries, your vote.
Yeah, I think we just look at the two things that have been accomplished. The supervisor just spoke to his accomplishment of having code enforcement go after dirty yards. Okay, it's important, I get it. My efforts were to keep people in their homes so that we didn't have to have a bad yard that needed to be cleaned up. That's the difference between the two. He may be complaining that it took a number of years for the legislature to get the job done, and that's just the one little problem of the legislature. But at least we did something significant and meaningful to help families keep their homes.
Mr. Buster, your vote.
Well, this has been a widely publicized issue for the last 2 or 3 years at least, and you'd think the state legislature, who offers hundreds of bills, I mean, each legislator, you had at least a dozen on your sheet here, right, yellow sheet, somewhere you would have offered something on foreclosures here, because it's a primary topic in this inland area. Riverside County's been hit. Here's your list of priorities. Nowhere on here is there anything that I've seen about foreclosures and your priorities. So, I'm kind of baffled by the sudden concern after so much water is under the bridge. I mean, it's good you've got in here now. I appreciate that, but it's too little. I think too late.